Hello students, how are you? I believe all of you are healthy and happy wherever you are. Let's get back to understand the text of the chapter Deep Water Part 2. In the first part, there were 2 points that I could not discuss. I would like to take them up right now. The first one was the recurring word, the acronym YMCA. YMCA, this abbreviation stands for Young Men's Christian Association, and it's quite popular in America, where it not only has its own swimming pools but it also conducts various activities for children, the adolescents, the middle aged people, the youngsters, the old age people, and it's very popular among the society and the family. And that is how the boy William Douglas was asked by his parents to get enrolled in the swimming classes at the YMCA swimming pool. The next one was the topic related to bullying. That is, this is a poster depicting that we have to stop bullying. There are 4 types of bullying mentioned here. The first one being social bullying, that how we ignore and we keep aside some kind of people, maybe because of their race, the language they speak, the caste they belong to. The reason can be any. But keeping somebody aside from the society or a group, if you are doing that and if they are not happy, then it is a bullying. That is a social bullying. Then verbal bullying. It was experienced by William Douglas when how he was called as a skinny boy by the strong boy. Only because he was a thin boy, it doesn't mean that someone can make fun of him. So when the strong boy called him a skinny, he was bullying him verbally. Then physical bullying again, when the strong boy picked him up against his wishes and threw him in the swimming pool. That was a physical abuse, physical bullying. Then very common nowadays is cyberbullying, when people make use of the social media platforms or the internet to bully somebody. So these are the major types of bullying which are very common nowadays, and it is a very sad situation for us because we are not doing anything and are becoming a part of it. Well, these were the points that were left out in the first session. Let's get back to the text. The last paragraph of page number 25. The boy was thrown into the swimming pool and he was suddenly very shocked and he did not know what to do, but still he made a plan that when he will hit the bottom, he will make a big jump, come to the surface, lie flat on it and paddle to the edge of the pool. So what happened afterwards? It seemed a long way down. Those 9 feet were more like 90. And before I touched bottom, my lungs were ready to burst. But when my feet hit bottom, I summoned up all my strength and made what I thought was a great spring upwards. I imagined I would bob to the surface like a cork. Instead, I came up slowly. So William Douglas made a plan, and when he hit the bottom, he made a huge jump. And he thought that definitely he would be out of water. His mouth would be out of water and he could start paddling and get to the edge. But that did not happen. Even after making a strong jump, he was still in the water. He came up very slowly. He thought that he would bob too. Bob means came up. I opened my eyes and saw nothing but water. Water that had a dirty yellow tinge to it. Tinge is color, a pattern kind of. I grew panicky. I reached up as if to grab a rope and my hands clutched only at water. I was suffocating. I tried to yell but no sound came out. Then my eyes and nose came out of the water, but not my mouth. So this is what happened to his plan. It did not succeed for sure. And when he realized that he was still underwater, even after making a huge jump, he suddenly grew panicky. Panicky is the state of panic. And what do you understand by panic? Panic is a sudden uncontrollable fear or anxiety, often causing wildly unthinking behavior. So the boy was definitely shocked when he was thrown into the swimming pool, but still his wits were sane, and he made a plan. But when the plan did not work, that is when he lost control. And he was in a state of utter shock and panic. I flailed at the surface of the water. Flailed is swing, SWING. Swallowed and choked. I tried to bring my legs up, but they hung as dead weights, paralyzed and rigid. A great force was pulling me under. I screamed, but only the water heard me. I had started on the long journey back to the bottom of the pool. So in this paragraph, we come to know that how his plan was a complete failure and he was again going back down. Even when he tried to move his limbs, they did not respond properly. It appeared as if his legs had become paralyzed, completely firm, not ready to move at all. I struck at the water as I went down, expending my strength as one in a nightmare fights an irresistible force. I had lost all my breath. My lungs ached. My head throbbed. I was getting dizzy. But I remember the strategy. I would spring from the bottom of the pool and come like a cork to the surface. So even after suffering a lot, even after trying a lot, he was striking the water, paddling inside the water, only to get out of it. But all his efforts were of no use. He could not get out of water. His lungs were suffering, his head was throbbing badly, and he was feeling dizzy as if going to sleep, and everything was rotating, revolving around him. Even after that, he was still conscious enough to remember his strategy. It appeared as if he was fighting a huge, irresistible force, as if in a nightmare. When you are fighting against a strong evil, a great opposition, and there is no chance of survival or winning at all. But still, he remembered his strategy. That he would again make a huge jump, come out of the water and start paddling. Taking up the text again. I would lie flat on the water, strike out with my arms and thrash with my legs. Then I would get to the edge of the pool and be safe. So he was still optimistic, even after losing once. I went down, down, endlessly. I opened my eyes. Nothing but water with a yellow glow. Dark water that one could not see through. It's a very small paragraph, but it has such a great meaning to it. You remember this picture I showed you in the first session, that how the water in a swimming pool is so clear. Here the tiles are of blue color, I believe. That is why the water appears blue. And in the swimming pool, the YMCA swimming pool, most probably the tiles were of yellow color. That is why he keep on saying the yellow color. But this time he says dark water. So can water here appear dark at all? Well, I guess no. What was happening? He was slowly losing his consciousness, his energy, his wits, his intelligence. Maybe he was hallucinating, and it appeared around him that the water was not as clear as it is. The water was dark, grabbing him, clutching him. And then sheer stark terror seized me. Terror that knows no understanding. Terror that knows no control. Terror that no one can understand who has not experienced it. I was shrieking underwater. I was paralyzed underwater, stiff, rigid with fear. Even the screams in my throat were frozen. Only my heart and the pounding in my head said that I was still alive. These are the expressions that we realize and understand when we go through a first hand account. When the text is written by someone who was underwater, who was trying hard to live, who experienced that terror, that sheer stark terror that captures somebody completely. The clutches of that terror, when completely takes control of a human being, the emotions, the mind, and the body. Terror that knows no understanding at all, it knows no control, it is uncontrollable. And such terror cannot be understood by someone who has never experienced it. The terror of losing the life, the terror of dying. He was paralyzed underwater. His body refused to move as per his wishes and energy. He thought that he was screaming underwater. Whether he was or not, that we don't know, because if he tried screaming, water would have got inside his body. But he thought that he was screaming underwater. Only my heart and the pounding in my head said that I was alive. So he lost so much hope, courage. He lost his energy. He planned. He planned to get out of the water, but every time his plan failed. And he was such a young boy. Well, moving forward to this paragraph, the next one. And then, in the midst of terror, came a touch of reason. I must remember to jump when I hit the bottom. At last I felt the tiles under me. My toes reached out as if to grab them. I jumped with everything I had. So even after losing all his courage, his bravery, his intelligence, his energy, he still remembered his plan. After all, he had to live. He could not die. Nobody wants to die, even a young boy. He was trying very hard. And he again made a huge jump. But the jump made no difference. The water was still around me. I looked for ropes, ladders, water wings. Nothing but water. A mass of yellow water held me. Stark terror took an even deeper hold on me, like a great charge of electricity. I shook and trembled with fright. My arms wouldn't move. My legs wouldn't move. I tried to call for help, to call for mother. Nothing happened. So this is the aftermath of suffering from a trauma. This is what was happening to him. He was trying to clutch something. When we are falling, when we are in a difficult situation, facing an accident, at that time our hands instinctively try to grab something. He was falling in the water again and again. And every time he was trying to hold on to something, a rope, ladder, water wings, anything. But there was nothing but water. A mass of yellow water held me. This is a very important line. Water is a liquid. It moves easily, flows. It cannot be the mass of yellow water. The boy was definitely hallucinating, and it appeared to him as if he was held by water all around him. And the water has solidified somehow, and he could not move in that. He was caged inside the solid form of water. Stark terror took an even deeper hold on me. Like a great charge of electricity, he was so terrified, as if he received a shock of electricity. After losing once, twice, thrice, he realized that he might not live and he is going to die. My arms wouldn't move, my legs wouldn't move. I tried to call for help, to call for mother. Nothing happened. So even after trying a lot, he was crying underwater, crying for help, crying for mother. but nothing happened. Well, with this, I would like to close this session for today. And this is the quote with which I would like to close it. Hold on tight, and fight as hard as you can. And William Douglas, underwater, was doing that. Even after being such a young boy, even after being in a great irresistible force fighting against it, he was holding on to it. He was fighting as hard as he could. He tried to execute his plan once, twice, thrice. With every failure, the terror, its intensity grew in leaps and bounds. But he still remembered the strategy, and he still remembered that he must fight back. So with this, let us close it for now, and in the next session we will take up Deep Water, Understanding the Text, Part 3.